welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Victoria and today I'm very excited to be sharing with you one of my favorite fall recipes that I actually love to eat all year round. Butternut squash ravioli with brown butter, balsamic glaze, Parmesan cheese, and pepitas. It is a very simple and delicious recipe. I was actually introduced to this dish at Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival at Walt Disney World a couple years ago. Just delicious. You won't believe it came out of your own kitchen. So today's recipe doesn't require many ingredients at all. It can require even fewer if you go ahead and buy a balsamic glaze. I prefer to just make balsamic glaze at home. 1 large pot in which you will boil your ravioli, and 1 to 2 small pots. I often use the same one to make my balsamic glaze ahead of time, and then I brown the butter in the same pot after I've washed it. The star of the show, which is butternut squash ravioli, already made, saves you a lot of time, and it's pretty affordable. I've used a brand from Walmart, one from Trader Joe's, and from Publix. They've all worked equally well, all delicious. This package from Trader Joe's has 3 1-cup servings in it. Aaron and I generally prefer to just share the package, so we have about 1.5 cups. Shaved Parmesan cheese, butter to make brown butter. It shouldn't matter whether it is salted or unsalted. This is a 1/2 stick of butter. This is usually enough for just 2 people because we just drizzle it on. Balsamic vinegar, brown sugar for making the balsamic glaze, and finally you need raw pumpkin seeds. You do want them to be raw, not roasted and salted. I will also have linked the instructions on how to make balsamic glaze. I've followed this every time, but I realized that it's just too much balsamic glaze for 2 people to use in the amount of time you're supposed to use it before it would go bad. It calls for 2 cups of quality balsamic vinegar and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. The 2.5 cups of ingredients are supposed to reduce to about 1/2 cup of glaze, so I just kind of eyeball it because we really just use the glaze as a drizzle and I don't need a lot of leftovers. This part takes a while. Balsamic vinegar doesn't come out of the thing very fast. I don't know if there's a way to screw off the lid, but we're just gonna stand here. Then we'll be adding the brown sugar to speed up the process. You can do this without brown sugar. So now we want to turn that burner onto medium heat and bring it to a boil, and then you will let it simmer for about 8 to 10 minutes if you've added sugar. I think it is about 20 minutes if you are not using sugar. The glaze will be done when it sticks to the back of a spoon. You do want to be careful not to over boil your glaze because I did that one time and I ended up with balsamic candy. So now I'm going to transfer the balsamic glaze to a glass container so that if we have leftovers we can store it, which it looks like we will. I did still make more than we need for this. That's okay, I have another package of the ravioli to make another day. Okay, so now I'm going to rinse this out and start to brown the butter, get the water boiling, and make the ravioli. It does take a while to boil this much water. You'll follow the instructions, each one's different. The Trader Joe's says to bring 4 quarts of lightly salted water to a boil and then add the pasta. Then it only has to cook for 3 minutes. So this part doesn't take long as far as cooking, it just takes a while for the water to get hot enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the water. So I've turned the burner on high so that the water will come to a boil. You want to let your water boil first because then you can drain the pasta and just keep checking on the butter, since the pasta only takes about 3 minutes to cook. Now the water is boiling and it is time to add the pasta. Then I will bring it back to a gentle boil and let it cook for 3 minutes. Hey Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes. If you're new to making ravioli like I was about a year ago, it will float, this kind at least, the butternut squash ravioli will float at the top, which makes you think part of it's not getting cooked, so I do stir mine occasionally. You also want to be gentle when you stir the ravioli so that you don't accidentally puncture one of them, because there's nothing quite like nasty ravioli water when you've punctured it. So 3 minutes have now passed and it is now time to take out the ravioli. It may seem a little strange to use a spaghetti strainer to get into the actual strainer to get the ravioli out, but for me that works best. When I try to just dump, these are very delicate and they break apart, and as I said earlier, that's not what you want. So this is what they'll look like. If you've never browned butter before, I will link how to do it in the description box as well. It's advisable to do it in a light colored pan, but I'm just using this dark colored nonstick because that's what I have. I'm not a real chef, so I just add the whole 1/2 stick at one time. It seems to do fine for me, but if you really want this to be perfect and you don't want any dark flecks in it, it's probably best to do as the internet says and cut yours into pieces before you add it to the pot to start melting. And you do want to be melting this over medium heat. Browning butter is as easy as it sounds. You just add butter and then you watch it until it is brown. If you've never had brown butter, you're in for a treat. It's a very unique but delicious flavor. So the timing, you want to make your glaze first and then you will start your water boiling and put your butter on the stove to brown. That way you can add the ravioli to the pot and it will be boiling while your butter is browning, since the ravioli takes 3 to 4 minutes depending on the kind you bought, and the butter takes about 5 to 8 minutes. Just like Chris from Orlando used to make. Thank you all so much for joining me today to make this delicious butternut squash ravioli. I hope that you enjoyed this recipe and can share it with your friends and family. I would love to see your version of this. If you liked this video, please be sure to subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out. Leave a comment letting me know when you're gonna make this. Go ahead and get it on your schedule because trust me, it is delicious. With that, I'm going to go enjoy this myself. I hope you have a magical night and a magical dinner, and I will see you in the next video.